In this section, we are going to get started with React Native on our Windows development environment. So if you're running Mac OS X, if you're on a Mac right now, you can skip this section and go on to the next one. If you're on Windows, stay here. You can tell because I got the big ol' Windows logo on the screen here. You know you're in the right spot if you're on Windows, so to speak. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We need to install a lot of different software. So I'm going to be honest with you. Setup of React Native on on Windows is a little bit tough because there's a lot of stuff to install. So we're going to go through it. We're going to do our best to install just one thing at a time, but sometimes it might save us a little bit to install two things simultaneously because sometimes it's just a long download. Anyways, let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is open up my browser. And just because I'm on Windows, I'm going to use Internet Explorer, no reason in particular, but I am going to use Google rather than Bing. All right, so the first thing we're going to install is the Java JDK, or really SDK, but whatever, JDK, sure. This is not so we're going to search for Java SDK. This is not necessarily a prerequisite for React Native. This is really a prerequisite for running Java apps of any type, or Android apps of any type. So I'm going to search for Java SDK, and then the first result, Java SE-downloads, will go there. Now on this page, there's a very prominent download button to download Java Platform JDK. I'm currently on version 8. If there's a more recent version, no problem, go for it. So we will download. And at the next page, we need to select the operating system that we are downloading this JDK for. So on the Java SE development kit right here, I will first accept the license agreement, and then I will find the selection for Windows 64. So sure, right here, let's install it. Then we get prompted to run this thing. Yep, sounds great. And again, we could start off another installation while this thing's downloading, but I really want to just kind of, as much as possible, run one thing at a time, because otherwise it kind of gets confusing because I'm just clicking all over the place. So after the download is finished, we will start up the installation. And there we go. So next, you know the deal here, you know the drill. Next, 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 next. And we are done with the installation. If you see a destination folder pop up right here, that's no problem. Just click next also. And finally, we are actually installing the library, and it should just take a moment or two. Like I said, a moment or two. There we go. Fantastic. So now I've got the Java JDK installed on my system. So we'll go ahead and close that, and we are done with step one. Now, we still have a lot of steps to go through, so let's continue going. The next thing that I'm going to install, I'm going to first flip back over to Google, and I need to go through the installation of Node.js. Node.js is all about running JavaScript outside of the browser environment, so kind of running it in a desktop environment instead. We are installing Node for two purposes. First, because we need to use Node to generate our application bundle, so to kind of take all the JavaScript that we write and stuff it down all into one file to serve up on our mobile device. And we also use Node for package management as well, as we will find in just a second. So at Google, I'm going to do a search for Node. I will go click on the link, and then you get prompted for a download. You can either go with the stable download or the current download, or current version. It's completely up to you. I usually just run with the current version because it has access to all the latest features. But what the heck, I'll change things up and go with the current version instead. So I'm going to download the installer for Windows x64. It's a very quick download. And okay, well, I've already got Node installed here, and it's a later version, so I guess I already have the 6.6. So I'm just going to hit OK and kind of be done with it. Of course, if you do not have Node installed, certainly go through that process. Okay, so that's it for Node. Very quick install as well. And we're going to move on to one last installation inside this video, and then we'll continue in the next one. So the last thing we're going to look for, I'm going to flip back over to Google again, and the last thing I'm going to look for is Python 2. So I'll search for Python 2, and here's my download link right here, download Python on python.org. And very prominently, we are prompted for download the latest version for Windows. We want version 2 of Python, not version 3, version 2. So I will download Python, run it. And just like Node, I believe I already have this installed on my system, so it might just give me a quick error, but we'll see what the result is. And okay, yep, I've already got Python installed, so it's prompting me to change, repair, or remove. If you do not have Python installed, again, all you have to do is hit that next, and you're good to go. Okay, so I know that I said that this was the last thing we're going to install, but there actually is just one last thing that I want to start up for installation because it's going to save us a lot of time in the next section. So again, over at Google, I'm going to do a search for Android Studio download. And then very prominently, again, it's fantastic. Thank goodness these are all the first links that pop up. We find download Android Studio and SDK tools. So we'll click on that link. And then very prominently on here, just a little bit down the page, is download Android Studio. So we'll start this download off. And as you see, this is not an instant download. This is 1.6 gigabytes large. So there's a lot of stuff to have to pull in here. So we will start up the download process for the Android Studio. And let's continue in the next section and start installing the Android Studio.